Hi friends and subscribers, this is Mahmoud Sheikh, and from past few videos I am working on developing a blog application using PHP and MySQL. In my last video I completed the functionality of registering a user, and in this video I will try to cover the functionality of logging in or login functionality. Okay, so once the user gets registered, that user can get logged in, okay, with the login system. Okay, so if I type login.php, now I'm redirected to login.php file. Okay, so here we need to create the form which looks like this. Okay, so let's go to our editor, okay, and go to login.php. Okay, now let's include our header and footer. Okay, let's just copy. I will just copy this entire code that I had written for registering a user. I'll just copy. Okay, I'll just copy this and I will put it here. Okay, and this one is login user, and this should redirect to the request should be sent to login.php file. Okay, and the request will be post request, and here email. Okay, and then okay, and then next is password. Okay, okay, and then I don't want this. Okay, and this should be login. Okay, here we are creating or building a login functionality, so the name should be login and the value login. Okay, tap submit and then reset. Okay, this one is reset. Save it. Okay, here should be login. Okay, okay, so I just want to request you guys to watch this complete tutorial series from the beginning, so that you can understand each and every concept. Okay, so in this video what I have done is I have just copied the markups which I had done in my last video when I have done the functionality of registering a user. From there I copied this entire thing so that I can save the time of creating the same exactly same looking form or the somewhat similar form again and again. Okay, so here I have just changed it to email and password. Okay, so now okay, let's save it and refresh. Okay, now I have got a login page, login user, email, password, and login and cancel button. Okay, so let's see. Okay, email. Okay, placeholder should be email. Okay, so now whenever user enters the email and password, and whenever the user click on login, a post request should get sent to this login.php file, where I will be writing the code for getting the details of the entered user from the database. If that user's details, or if that user is already registered, that means their user's credentials will be present inside the database. At that time it will send the user to some other page like dashboard kind of thing. Okay, or in other case, if the user that is trying to log into the system, if the credentials of that user is not present, that means that user is not registered already, then in that case it will display an error. Okay, now let's build that. Okay, so we need to link to our database configuration file. Okay, include okay config/db.php. okay, and then if is set $_post, okay, then login. Okay, so here whatever name we have given to our submit form, submit button, which is login, the same name we have to use here. Okay, if your post request is set, then I will take the email that user is going to enter in the form. Okay, email and then password. Okay, and then I will check for the emptiness. Okay, just copy, it's not equals to null, and password is not equals to null. Okay, that means if user tries to click on login without entering any information in both of these text boxes, at that time I will display the user some error. Okay, for that, okay, so okay, else okay, here say validation passed, and else $error, please fill all the details. Okay, so now here since I had created this error message in my last video itself, okay, so from that video I had copied this entire code, so now I don't have to do the same thing again and again for displaying the error message. Okay, so now let's refresh the page. Okay, now let's click on login. Okay, now it's displaying where errors, please fill all the details. Okay, now I will enter the details like, okay, now I have entered the email and password. Okay, so now if I click on login, okay, so I have to make some changes here. Okay, this should be type email. Okay, and here password. Okay, fine. Now let's refresh. Okay, now let's try to click on this login. Okay, now I have clicked on login and it's returning me a messages validation passed. Okay, so now we are done with this. Okay, now let's remove this. Okay, here one thing we need to see here, in our database we have stored the password of the user in encrypted form. Okay, so we had taken the password and we have encrypted and we have stored that encrypted password in our database. Okay, so now while logging, the user will be entering the password in normal way. Okay, so but the password stored in the database will be in the encrypted form. So what we need to do is we need to encrypt the password which user is entering password. Okay, so now this is the password, this is the variable in which the password that user is going to enter inside this text box will going to store. Okay, so to this password I need to encrypt SHA1 using SHA1. I need to encrypt it. Okay, so that I can match to this encrypted password to get the details of the registered user. Okay, so let's $SQL. Okay, select star from users where email equals to $email and password equals to this password. Okay, next result equals to MySQL query. Okay, to this I will pass our connection. Okay, and our SQL query. Okay, or die error. Save it. Okay, so now this connection is since we have included this db.php file which is present inside our config, and inside this db.php we have written the entire configuration details of our database. Okay, so here you can see we have a connection, and this connection we are using here. Okay, so now if else, okay, if MySQL num rows is greater than 0. Okay, so if so this, okay, here I'm checking after executing this query. Okay, after executing or after selecting the data from the database or table, if our result set contains any data which is MySQL numbers, if I am having the data which is greater than 0, if the number of rows that is returned from the table is greater than 0, then I will use a while loop. Okay, and then row MySQL fetch assoc. Okay, to this I will pass this result. Okay, and then I will get id of the record. Just copy. Okay, I will get entire information of that user, then username, and then password. Okay, and then email. Okay, I got if the data that is returned from the table contains any rows, then I'll get all the information of all these fields from the table, and I'll store inside these variables. Okay, and now I will save it. Okay, otherwise if our table doesn't contain any data, okay, so we'll use error. Okay, username or password is incorrect. Now save it. Okay, now let's try it. Okay, let's make a variable as data. Okay, this will be id, username, email, password. Okay, just copy, Okay, and now let's try to print that array dollar data. So okay, now save it. Okay, now let's refresh. Okay, let's type ajay at gmail.com and let's type password. Okay, now I'm trying to log in. Okay, it's displaying user name or password is incorrect. Okay, that means that user is not present in the database. Okay, so now let's enter the correct username and password which is present inside our table. Okay, now I've entered the email and password, and now let's click on login. Now when I click on login, you can see it has returned me the entire details of that user which is present inside the table. Okay, so in previously when I had entered the username and password which was not present in the table, at that time it given me an error, username and password is incorrect, which is this. Okay, and now it has returned me this data which is present inside the table of that user. Okay, which is I am trying to print here. Okay, so now what I will do is I will put this entire details of that user into session so that I can use those details in all the pages that I'll be going to visit after a user gets logged in. Okay, so after logged in, user might visit many pages. Okay, so on those pages I will take the data, I will pass this data with the help of session. Okay, so for doing that we have to store this entire details of the user into session so that I can use the details of that user in every pages after logged in. Okay, so now let's delete it. Okay, so for storing the data into sessions, first we need to come at the top and we need to start the session. Okay, for starting the session we need to write session start. Okay, and then next session. Okay, so here and first will be ID. Okay, so here as we already know that these variables contains the information of that user, so I will be passing these variables inside the session variables. Okay, then I will just copy. Okay, username. Okay, password. Okay, and then email. Okay, now I have stored the entire data of the user into the session so that I can use that data in all the pages that user is going to user will be going to visit after login. Okay, so now let's come to, okay, so now after login I want to take the user to dashboard. Okay, location dashboard.php. Okay, so I have not created this file, so I'll just copy this. Okay, and I will create that file as well. Okay, right click on this main project and then click on new file and then save it as, press Ctrl S and save it as dashboard.php. Okay, so now here, so so let's first h1. Okay, type welcome to dashboard. Okay, so now whenever user logged in, where is that? Okay, whenever user logged in successfully, then that user will be going to redirect to dashboard.php file. Okay, so now let's login.php. Okay, so now I will enter the username and password. Okay, now let's click on login. Okay, now you can see it has redirected to dashboard.php file, where it's displaying a message as welcome to dashboard. Okay, so here I want to display the name of the person or the user who is getting logged in. Okay, so how can I do that? So we can do that using sessions. Okay, because we have stored the details of that user who is going to logged in inside the session, so that I can use those session variables in dashboard to display the name of that user. Okay, so for doing that I have to come to my dashboard. Okay, and then PHP. Okay, and then we need to start a session here in this file as well. Okay, session start. Okay, and now welcome. Okay, welcome. Okay, here echo $_ session, and now I want to display the name or username. Okay, so now, okay, let's save it and refresh. Okay, now it's displaying welcome Mahmood. Okay, so this is the username which is stored inside the users table, and this is the person who is logged in right now. Okay, so now I'm able to fetch the name of the person who is getting logged in with the help of this session. Okay, so I'm able to see the name of the username because I have stored the details. I have stored the entire details of that user who is getting logged in inside the sessions here. Okay, so that's why I'm able to get the username of that user. Okay, if I want to display the email of the user who is logged in, I can display the email as well, because I have set email also inside the session. Okay, so now it will display me email. Okay, so yes, so now, okay, let's come here. Okay, let's come here and let's copy this. Okay, copy and put it here. Let's just copy, paste it here and change it to footer. Okay, now let's cut it, put it here. Okay, here P. Okay, so now let's refresh our page. Okay, so now it's displaying welcome Mahmood at gmail.com, because here I have set email. Okay, so now username. Okay, now let's, okay, it's playing welcome Mahmood, which is the username. Okay, so now we have completed the functionality of register as well as logged in. Okay, so now we need to, let's go to our index page. Okay, so now we need to build that functionality with the help of which we can move between register and login. Okay, so now like this. Okay, so if I click on this, now I'm in my login page. If I click on this setting option, I'll get register, so that I can go to register form. Okay, so here I'm logged in, that's why it's displaying here that. Okay, so now I'm in login. If I go to register, then register user page will display, and if I go to login, then login page will display. Okay, so now I need to create that functionality here. Okay, so for that I need to go to the header file. Okay, Okay, so here, okay, let's go to header. Okay, here after, okay, inside the navigation, here we need to create a new bar. Okay, here it's fine. Okay, let's create a div, the class of column lg10. Okay, and put it inside that, and then div the class of column lg2. Okay, and here settings. Okay, so now let's refresh. Okay, now you can see here at this place I'll be displaying the settings option. Okay, so this video is getting lengthier. Okay, so what I will do is I will just try to cover that part in my next video. Okay, so I hope you like this video, guys. I hope you understood whatever we did in this video. We tried to cover the login functionality here in this video, and we used sessions as well. Okay, so that I can take the data of the user and use in all the other pages wherever user will be going to visit after login. Okay, so if you like this video, click on like button, share it with your friends, and I will see you guys in my next video, and thanks for watching.